I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars ain't...
What's good? We're going to get into Night of Champions predictions. Night of Champions takes place on Saturday, June the 27th, 2026, from Saudi Arabia. Usually, the Saudi shows do pretty well. The Saudi crowd is usually pretty lively through most of what they get because they only get WWE twice a year. So I believe they're going to go back in October or they're going to go in November. I can't remember which. But they're going to go back to Saudi in either October or November, which is fine. So there's that. There are 6 matches on the card, which that's fine. There's going to be 2 that take place on ESPN for free, and then the remainder of the card is going to take place on ESPN Unlimited. So there is that, which is fine. Although everyone by now should have a VPN. I am not in the camp that has a VPN just yet. However, I will eventually get around to it and get one. They're fairly cheap, fairly affordable. So I'll be getting one in the next little while. Because ESPN Unlimited is a little bit too much for my liking. But it is what it is. So before we get into the match card, SmackDown is taped because they're going to be in Saudi. I will not be doing a SmackDown review. There's no point in doing it. I know it's going to be filler and the results are already out anyway. I haven't looked. I will watch SmackDown. I will watch it. But there will not be a SmackDown review. I repeat, there will not be a SmackDown review. There is no point in it. It's pointless. It's pointless. And I already know it's going to be awful anyway. I already know. Going into it, I already know it's going to be awful. So there's just no point in doing SmackDown. I kind of wish there was another pay-per-view on Saturday. I wish it was like a Slammiversary or like Forbidden Door, because Sunday is going to be hectic. Way too hectic. 3 pay-per-views on Sunday. Slammiversary for TNA, Forbidden Door for AEW, and Great American Bash for NXT. That's way too much. That's overkill. That's ridiculous. That's why I said one of those shows should have been on Saturday night. But it is what it is. But there will be no SmackDown review. All right, let's go ahead and get into this thing, shall we? So I'm going to save the King and Queen of the Ring matches for later on. Let's start with Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the Women's United States Championship. Jade Cargill more than likely is going to win. Why would she lose? It wouldn't make any sense. They've been teasing for about 3 or 4 weeks now that they're going to have Tiffany Stratton be in a tag team with Chelsea Green, which would kick ass. It needs to happen because that's where Tiffany Stratton needs to be. Jade Cargill could do fairly well in the mid-card for a while and be a dominant U.S. champion. I think that makes sense. Jade should win this thing clean. There should be no involvement from the baddies, B-Fab and Michin, a.k.a. Mia Yim. There should be no interference at all. If there is, it is what it is, but hopefully there's not. But I definitely expect for Jade Cargill to win. And there's that, because if she does win, which she should, there are some baby faces that could challenge her and, go after her. Julia being one of them. After she ends her mini feud with Kiana James, which that shouldn't last too long anyway. That's a television feud, nothing more, nothing less. So there's that. All right, moving on from that. Let's go with Ricky Saints versus Trick Williams for the United States Championship. Trick Williams is going to win. The match should be fun. After Trick wins this, Finn Balor should be Trick Williams' next opponent. It makes the most sense. And you put those guys in like a 3-month feud over the U.S. Championship. What Ricky Saints could do after he loses to Trick Williams, he needs to form a tag team with Carmelo Hayes. And that's been floated around online for a while. And I actually agree with that 10,000%. I think that's the best way that you can use both Ricky and Carmelo. Because those guys are just on the card, just to be on the card. They're always on SmackDown for the most part, but they're not doing anything. And I think them being a tag team would do wonders for both guys. And I think the SmackDown tag team division needs to be rebuilt because it's utter ass. And apparently, if they are going to be bringing in Enzo and Cass, then go ahead and start rebuilding that tag team division as best you can. So I think that makes the most sense. Hopefully that shit will occur. If not, it is what it is. But Trick Williams more than likely will retain, and hopefully Ricky can form a tag team with Carmelo Hayes. Moving on from that, Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins in a steel cage. This match should be fun as fuck, and I think it will. I really do think it will. Seth Rollins is more likely going to win. There could be one more match that they have on television to kind of end the feud, but I think this is going to be the feud ender here. What do you do with Braun Breaker going forward into SummerSlam? I have no idea. We all know that Seth Rollins is going to go after Roman Reigns for SummerSlam. So, there's that. It might not be a one-on-one match. I think it might be like a triple threat match or a fatal four-way, and I'll talk about that when we get into the Men's King of the Ring as to why I think that'll happen. But Seth Rollins more likely is going to win this and put an end to this feud. It needs to happen. Division, they suck ass. Braun Breaker doesn't need division at all. Braun Breaker and Austin Theory, I wish they were on their own. I wish that Braun was aligned with Paul Heyman by himself. Austin Theory, I wish that he was by himself, but Triple H does not give a fuck about Braun Breaker or Austin Theory, and this is why they're floundering on the main roster, right? So, yeah. But I do expect for Seth Rollins to win, and the match should be very fun. It'll probably end up being one of the matches of the night for sure. All right. Moving on from that, let's get into the triple threat match for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Gunther versus Sami Zayn. This is going to take place on ESPN, I think. No, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not. This will probably be the main event more than likely. Cody Rhodes is going to retain. Sami Zayn is going to be a babyface here. I expect for Cody to basically pin Gunther. And I think coming out of this, it's going to be Cody and Sami Zayn feuding going into SummerSlam. I think that makes the most sense. Clearly, we all know that Sami Zayn is not going to win the title until next year when they go back to Saudi for WrestleMania 43. And I think that's how it's going to stay, and that's how it should stay for the most part. because Cody's not losing that damn title. There's no one that they have on that roster that can be believable to take the title from Cody. It could have been Orton at some point in time, but, it just didn't happen. Orton's out for a while. We don't know what happened to him. We don't know why he's not there. I'm guessing it's just a standard vacation that all the top guys have taken. Like, Drew McIntyre's not there. CM Punk is not there. And I know people online are like, well, CM Punk, he must be in hot water. It's like, no, all of these top guys are just taking time off for a little while. They'll be back around, like, July anyway. So that's when we'll probably see Randy and CM Punk and Drew is back in July. I think Drew might even miss SummerSlam because SummerSlam is in early August. So once Night of Champions is over with, we'll have, I think, like 5 weeks until SummerSlam. So we got to go ahead and get started. Well, Triple H has to go ahead and get started on that shit and make it the best SummerSlam he can possibly make it. If his lame ass can make SummerSlam, worthwhile, which we all know he won't be able to because he fucking sucks at booking. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. So there is that. However, I do expect for Cody Rhodes to retain. And what do you do with Gunther? I don't know. He's done. Gunther is beyond cooked. He's filleted. He's baked. He's done. He's done. I have no idea why Triple H decided to have Gunther retire AJ Styles, Goldberg, and John Cena. That never should have happened. The only person he should have retired out of the three should have been Bill Goldberg. AJ Styles should have been retired by Finn Balor. And John Cena should have been retired by Cody Rhodes. That's just how I feel. And if I was booking, that's what you would have gotten. Moving on from that. All right, let's get into the King and Queen of the Ring. Let's start off with the Queen. Queen of the Ring tournament final. Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. The winner of that will be crowned Queen of the Ring and will earn a world title shot at SummerSlam for whatever championship. I have a feeling that Liv Morgan more than likely will win. And the reason why I say that is I think Triple H probably wants to do a champion versus champion match between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. It would make no sense for Io to win. Why would you do Rhea versus Io? That's babyface versus babyface. Or if you're going to go with Io winning, then she'll face Liv, and there's no point because we've already seen the match here in Saudi. There would be no need to build it some more. So I don't know. I really don't know. Unless they have Io win and they have Roxanne Perez cost Liv going into SummerSlam as champion. Liv loses at SummerSlam thanks to Roxanne Perez, and we kick off the Roxanne Perez-Liv Morgan feud from SummerSlam till close to Survivor Series for the next 3 months. So I think that's what they might do. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to say that Io is going to end up winning. Maybe Roxanne Perez comes out, gets involved, and Io wins by some miracle, and she beats Liv at SummerSlam. So maybe that's what happens. So I'm going to go with that. All right. Moving on from that. Jey Uso versus Obafemi, King of the Ring final. The winner will be crowned King of the Ring and earn a world title shot at either the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Undisputed Championship at SummerSlam. Who wins this? I'm going to go with Obafemi with Obafemi winning. The reason why I said that Obafemi is going to win is on Raw this past Monday, Solo Sikoa got involved and cost Jimmy Uso. I think the same thing's going to occur at Night of Champions. I think they're going to end up running the MFTs versus the Bloodline minus Roman Reigns for SummerSlam, right? I just see that happening. So I think it's going to be Solo, Tama, and Tala. They're going to show up to take out Jay. And that's where Oba is going to end up winning. And it's going to be Oba versus Roman at not a champ. My bad. At SummerSlam. I think Brock will show up post match, do an angle, take out Oba, and at SummerSlam, I think we're going to end up getting a triple threat match. Well, no, a fatal 4-way. Seth Rollins, Seth Rollins, Obafemi, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, fatal 4-way for the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't think that Brock's going to retire at SummerSlam just because that's what rumors been saying online for a while. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't. We do need a third match between Brock and Oba. But remember, once Night of Champions is over with, SummerSlam will be 5 weeks. So do you really want to rush Brock and Oba 3 for a 5-week build? That wouldn't make any sense. That's just me thinking out loud. And you can't leave Seth Rollins out of the picture, and you can't leave Brock out of the picture, right? So I do think that it's going to be a fatal 4-way at SummerSlam. I just feel it. I don't think it would make any sense. I don't think they're going to end up doing Roman and Oba. I think Triple H is too much of a pussy and too scared to do that there. And I don't think he's going to want to build Brock and Oba 3 so quickly. I think he's going to want that to kind of be pushed further back a little bit. So I think that's what's going to end up happening there. I don't know why I feel it, but I kind of feel like that's what Triple H would do. So, because is Oba ready to main event? He is in my book, but the world of Triple H, he's not ready yet. He's not ready. He's got to earn it. He's got to earn it. So I could see there being like a fatal 4-way of some sort. And I do think they're going to end up doing, bloodline warfare again like they've done before in the past. So, why wouldn't that happen? Because if Jey Uso wins, Triple H is the dumbest motherfucker ever. If Jey Uso wins, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm really going to lose my shit. I'm not going to hold you guys up. I'm going to lose my shit if Jey Uso wins King of the Ring. I'm going to be fucking pissed. I'm going to be fucking pissed. So, I'm hoping that the MFTs do show up and cost Jey Uso. I don't think we're going to see Roman Reigns on this show at all, period. Not even to do an angle. I think Brock will show up at the end of Ova and Jay to move that forward. So there is that. So let's go over the predictions again. Jade Cargill will defeat Tiffany Stratton to become the new Women's United States Champion. Cody Rhodes will retain his title in the triple threat against Sami Zayn and Gunther. Seth Rollins will win the steel cage match. He'll defeat Braun Breaker. Trick Williams will retain the U.S. Championship against Ricky Saints, a.k.a. Ricky Starks. Io Sky will win the Queen of the Ring, and she'll face Liv Morgan at SummerSlam, with Roxanne Perez costing Liv Morgan at SummerSlam. And Oba Femi will become King of the Ring with help from the MFTs. So those are my predictions. But what do you guys think? I mean, not what do you guys think, but what are your predictions for Night of Champions? And are you excited for Night of Champions? I am. I'm sort of kind of excited for a couple of the matches on the card. Again, there will be no SmackDown review. I'm not going to be doing it at all. I just want to reiterate that. So there's that. But hopefully Night of Champions will be a fun time, and hopefully some things are furthered, basically. Hopefully it happens. But we'll have to wait and see. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.